Alright guys, so it's another day, and today I'm reading Matthew 6 verse 5. When it says, "And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. But when you go pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen." A couple notes that I got from this, because it kind of hit me pretty hard, because it made me be conscious of how much I talk about being a Christian. Because I think sometimes we spend a lot of time boasting, and we spend a lot of time kind of putting ourselves on a pedestal, telling people how good of a Christian we are, that sometimes our fruit doesn't represent what we're saying, if that makes sense. So there's another verse that I wanted to kind of dive into. It says Matthew 7 verse 16. It says, "By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles?" So basically saying, like, by their fruit, by the way they act, by the way they speak, you'll be able to know if what they're reading is actually true. And I think that's a big deal for us as Christians, and even for non-Christians, because a lot of times, when you're a Christian, you read the Bible and you know what to do and what to say and how to say it and how to love and how to care and how to not care and how to, help people, whatever, this, that, and a half. But sometimes we forget that even to other people, they're looking at us waiting for us to drop the ball. You know what I'm saying? So they're already looking at us, expecting us to fail, expecting us to struggle. So sometimes you need to be mindful of what you're telling people, because they're going to be looking at the way we live to judge, if what we're saying is accurate. So I want to go back to this verse, because I think it's really important that a lot of our building comes in a quiet space. It comes from that time alone. And our relationship is going to be built that way, and not just what we tell people in public. And I know there's like a big misconception between like Christians and social media and everything, and you get one thing online, you meet them in person, you get completely different things. But I want to encourage you to live a life of integrity and really live what it means to be more like Jesus. I know sometimes you get caught up, or something happens, or you get upset or frustrated or whatever it is, but just know that sometimes you may be the only Jesus that someone sees. But like this verse says, Matthew 6 verse 6, "But when you go pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen." Right? So then you won't have to overcompensate, and you won't have to over-explain yourself on what it means to be a Christian. By your fruit, they will recognize that you spend time with Jesus alone, so that by the time you get to public, you don't act a certain way, you don't talk a certain way, you don't respond a certain way, because you spent that time alone in that Word. Maybe that's something you needed. I know it's something I needed. But you don't have to prove to people you're a Christian. By your fruit, they will recognize that you spent time in that quiet place. I'll see you guys in the next video.